All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got my second win, got a little something to drink and refresh my taste buds with my favorite delicious ice cream that I let melt. And you're gonna have to turn your back a little bit before I start this ice cream. I started ice cream earlier, but anyway, I made a promise to Nikki that I was going to do a little something, something. And I think I'm going to do that for Nikki because I believe she deserves it. She's done so much poetry for people and enlightened my life and made me the poet that I am. If I never had heard Nikki speak in her 50s, I would have never tried my hand at poetry while I was yet 48 years old. And Nikki, this is for you. I'm going to be doing something from the License to Preach. And this particular poem is entitled License to Preach. Step right up and get your license to preach. I'm not talking about all those who claim that they can preach, but the ones who want to teach, they will need a license to preach. Now, you go to school to get the golden rule, but you'll find out that you need many more tools. When you realize that the schools only teach from one book, then in other resources, you want to take a look. Now, one of these books is called the Book of the Dead. That's right. Did you hear what I said? It's the Book of the Dead. You'll want to read the Hosea and the Holy Tablets too. Hold up. I'm not finished talking to you. I'm not talking about those that claim that they can preach, but rather those that came to teach. They will need a license to preach. After you have labored over the word coming forth by day and night, you make up in your mind rather to switch than to fight against the lies that have been told over the years that have weighed upon our souls. Now, Moses didn't really bring us the Ten Commandments. Irregardless of how this might sound, there were 42 negative confessions and 142 were already here for us to view. Now, I'm not talking about those that claim that they can preach, but rather those that came to teach. They will need a license to preach. Now, no more teaching from the King James Version only, nor the Strong Concordance. In not reading the other books is where we've gone wrong. No more myths, fallacies, nor allegorical stories talking about how we are going to descend to a life of glory. No more heavens in the sky, no waiting until we die for the sweet by and for the pie in the sky for you and I. We must capture these lies for the years that we have been reprised from teaching and preaching the words without myths. I wonder what would have happened, what would we have done if no myths did exist. I'm not talking about those that claim that they can preach, but rather those that came to teach. They will need a license to preach. A license to preach, y'all. The next one is entitled Crazy Cam. Don't go PMing me saying that you want a cam. Boy, you don't really know who I am. You don't know who I could really be. Asking me if you can lay your camera all over me. Why, just to add a face to a voice? Is that really giving you any choice? asking for a chance to lay eyeballs on who I am. Could this be another one of your foolish scams? I could be warmed over breakfast, or I could even be just another anorexic. I can be fresh out of the bush. Tell me just why are my looks you trying to push? Screens don't always reveal what's true when someone's trying to peep in and look at you. As a matter of fact, they will always oblige just to keep you coming back for more lies. Now here's the real deal. When looking for how someone feels, ask questions like, how feel you? Or how do you do? Maybe you'll get a chance to get a look or two, or maybe even a better view. An image on screens can hardly be seen, and it won't even get you closer to the girl in your dreams. Hey, make sure that you pick up on this. Now, don't you go adding me to your buddy list. I know only sooner or later you're going to be pissed after you realize that you're going to be dissed. And no, I don't want to join your pal talk group. Not just to listen to the latest scoop. I want you to leave me right where I am. And that is off of your crazy cam. Crazy cam. The next one is entitled, My Sister Died. My sister died, clutching her heart and screaming. Clutching her heart and screaming. I know to some of y'all it might be seeming. Just why was this woman kicking and screaming? Was it because her death was an untimely one? Did she leave this earth before her life was done? Or was her life lived in vain? Or was it because those damn children went so damn insane? It sure wasn't because they were lazy. Those damn children just went damn crazy. They must have went crazy somewhere in between the years. I know my sister shed a many a tears, 'cause I watched those children from the time they were reared. Could it be the way that society forces you to be steered? I'm sure my sister prayed for them before she passed. This couldn't have been the reason why her life didn't last. One of her daughters ran off from her husband, leaving 4 children behind crying. One of her daughters set to fame on account of being caught up in the heat of the game. She was caught up in the game of snitching, just living her life, dodging and ditching. I'm sure if her mama were here, she'd be bitching, saying, just why was that girl snitching? Some say she died. Some say she did the Judas. Others say her death was one of the crudest. 2 of her sons joined in the chain gang of the penitentiary. Who would have ever thought that they would end up there eventually? Now they will never have a chance to be free, to maybe even sail across the ocean sea. Her baby boy is looking for love in all of the wrong places, changing beds and looking into different faces. He appears to be growing up too fast. I certainly hope that this phase doesn't last. My sister died clutching her heart and screaming, clutching her heart and screaming. I know to some that it might be seeming, just why was this woman kicking and screaming? Nevertheless, I'm still looking back into the past, wondering just why my sister's life didn't last. Was it because I wasn't there? It darn sure wasn't because I didn't care. Could it have been because I missed the funeral and the family gathering too? Just tell me, what was I supposed to do when the military's life got its grip on you and the civilian refused to see your point of view? Why, I would have given almost anything for a day in the spring just to be there to sing, or possibly to have given her children advice. Maybe this might have saved my sister's life. My sister died. The next was entitled, Just Give Me Some More. When my money gets kind of funny, I don't want things to cost me too much money. When my money is low, I want to be able to go. Child, where I don't have to blow. If for things that I can simply just let go. Just give me some more. Just give me some more. Money so I don't have to blow. Like having my fingernails manicured and my toenails painted. Why, this is living the good life, ain't it? Now don't go taking me for some addict. Just because I need to have my hair plaited. Periodically I need to mend it. And there are those times when I need to extend it. And there are times when I need to bund it and weave it. And I might just take a notion just to leave it. I might just take a notion just to leave it. To air dry, that is, while I go and tend to my biz. You better get you some or just give me some more. Just give me some more money so that I don't have to blow. It for things that I can simply let go. And I ain't no junkie waiting for the next turnkey fix. And you sure won't find me caught up in the heat of the mix. I'm certainly not waiting for the next turnkey scam. Where I go, they all recognize who I am. And some folk even occasionally call me ma'am. You see, they're familiar with who I am. They're calling me to basement bargains. Now, I'm not just talking jargon. I'm talking green light specials, baby, where my money moves rather slow. And I'm very careful of it not to blow. My money not to blow. It for things that I can simply just let go until I can just get my hand on some more. Just give me some more. Just give me some more. You see, it's like letting my hair grow. Why, girl, I might even take a notion to wear an afro. Why, I want my money to be drawn to me like a magnetism. You folks just can get up off your isms. You can get up off your isms. No, I ain't prejudiced of no kind. While you all must think I'm lying. Just stick around and you will find I ain't the one to be calling blind. Why, I'll never stop trying until I have you on your knees crying about me getting the Benjamins and the Franklins too. If I didn't have them in my pocket, well, I don't know just what I would do. I guess I would just shop at the thrift store until I can just get my hands on some more money, that is. Now, why don't you just mind your own biz? Why, I even know that the riches of the wicked are laid up for the just. You can just move out of my way so I can finish being blessed. Even though I have to shop secondhand, I know that really is not the way that the Creator had it planned. In my spirit, I am rich. I am rich. And this is not just some high sales pitch. I'm thrifty and I'm economical. Why, my money, I just won't blow. My currencies, I like to move rather slow. 'Cause to the bank, they must all go. Don't get me confused with some other hag, 'cause watching price tags is my bag. Only difference is that I check price tags. Erica Badu claims that she's carrying too much stuff. She should have realized that someone was going to make it tough or even rough just because she wants to carry her stuff. Thrifty and economical she must go, so her money she won't ever have to blow. How am I doing, Nikki? I hope you're evaluating me, and I hope you get a chance to review these particular poems. Read by the author Omiinka Seven Zanu is my stage name. Trapped like a mouse. Now I want to get my workout on today. But first, this internet I must play. Email's inbox is up to the brim. Don't look like I'm gonna get to that gym. Look here, default mail's been sent back again, and Lucky Lotto, it swears that I win. Trapped like a mouse. Girl, I've got to get up out of this house. I'm really trapped like a mouse. Confirmation letter's been sent. I wonder where that email went. Website's now under construction. Hopefully I won't experience any more disruption. Can't let that chat room keep me up all night. Pal Talk friends are gonna just have to take a flight. They tell me that MSN is all brand new. I guess I'll drop by to get a view. Yahoo has been working overtime. Don't look like I'm gonna get back on this line. Servers non-responding again. Oh Lord, working offline is now the new trend. Trapped like a mouse. Girl, I've got to get up out of this house. I'm really trapped like a mouse. Junk mail, I'll have to read a few. Hotmail server, you can't even view. Afraid those fools are gonna try to cam, just trying to get a look at who I am. Open up these airways and unzip the file. Computer needs attention and so does my child. Trapped like a mouse. Girl, I gotta get up out of this house. I'm really trapped like a mouse. I want to change my email. Yes, I want to turn it around. Then I want to tell folks I moved out of town. This mouse is starting to stick again. I wonder, will I ever win? Screens have become blurred and input has lost all of my words. Ain't nobody's gonna get through until I finish what I have to do, and that is to sit here and to talk to you until you recognize my point of view about that little thing they call the mouse. And how it's got me trapped here in this house. Trapped like a mouse. Girl, I've got to get up out of this house. I'm really trapped like a mouse. Trapped like a mouse. The next one is entitled Bag Lady, which I'm dedicating to Erica Badu because she came to listen to me when I did my first poem out in public. This one goes to you, Badu. Bag lady, you ain't got nothing on me. I'm still carrying around all these bags you see. Even though I've obtained a 4-year college degree, and they tell me that I've advanced to a 3-year mastery. Do you remember when they said education was the key? And that was all you and I needed to be free? I want you to know you're going to need more than just you. And this is not only my point of view. You will hear it from quite a few. Probably so many you won't know what to do. Bag lady, you ain't got nothing on me. I'm still carrying all these bags you see. How come it's got to be so rough for a college woman to want to carry her stuff? How come an educated lady has to resort to being undignified? How come she has to lose her pride? How come the others must vanguard? what was rightfully hers from the start. Bag lady, you ain't got nothing on me. I'm still carrying all these bags you see. Bags of scars, sexism, classism, ageism, and racism, holding us back as if we were still in a prison. Why, they're nothing more than isms. Tell me why folks out there try to make it so tough just for you and I to carry our stuff. Standing on the subways, why it never paid, and living out of bags while you sure don't have it made. And you sure can't get paid. Why, it's cost you something that you and I can afford to lose. Our time down here singing these low down dirty blues. Badu, I hope that you will listen to this bulletin news and won't think that I'm just another chick down here singing these low down dirty blues. Bag lady. The next one is something in a name. I was born around water with my ancestors surrounding me. They call me Inca 7, Lady Jaguar Throne. Why, my very name, it explains the reason why I was proclaimed as Inca 7, Lady Jaguar Throne, because I got 10,000 angels hanging around my home. Predestined from my birth, way before I even came to this earth. I was born around water with my ancestors surrounding me. They call me Inca 7, Lady Jaguar Throne. It was Chief Metahochi who first spoke my name. He divined over me with such fortune and fame. And Adiimi, he would be my teacher. He was the one that taught me the meaning of being a preacher. And Ibi Lola, I had already thought, I told her that she would be my friend until the very end. I'm going to walk with that woman through thick and thin, because I know she was lesbian. I know over time in her life, she's going to win, because she's been a mother to Tree and them. She's been a mother to Tree and them. And I've classified her as a genuine gem. And Uncle Manny too. Why, what's a mother supposed to do when you got your children depending on you and you've got to step in and live their life too? At times you can't be overburdened in life. There is never enough to give you advice. I was born around water with my ancestors surrounding me. They call me Inca 7, Lady Jaguar Throne, because I've got 10,000 angels hanging around my home. Why, it sounds so simple and plain just to hear them calling my name. It's just the sound of the old rat-a-tat-tat of the ancestors trying to call me right back, calling me back to the underworld spirit. Oh, I wonder if you can hear it. I wonder if you can hear it. When you hear them, don't fear them. Just pull back the veil and persevere them. Even though the righteous woman may fall 7 times, she rises again and again and above all of her sins. Even though they may have given you that slave name, you don't really have to proclaim it as your real name. And if it's all the same, you better think about taking back your real name. I do suppose that you better get hip. Why, you sure don't want to go boarding on the wrong ship. It would really be a shame if you never found out what was really in a name. That's why I took this name, and I'm telling you to do the same. Let me do some explaining before you folks start complaining. This is why I'm singing and proclaiming that there is really something in a name, which is what I've tried to explain. and I will forevermore proclaim that there is really something in a name. But calamity will fall upon the unrighteous man. But calamity will fall upon the unrighteous man for the deeds that he's done and not taking a stand. But I'm just living my life before it's been rehearsed. Pardon me while I sing the second verse. I was born around water with my ancestors surrounding me. They call me Omiinka 7, Lady Jaguar Throne, because I got an angel hanging on my throne, just waiting to take me home where I belong. Don't you go and laugh. Are you ready to go back to class to learn a few things about your past? It's been over 400 years since the moving of the middle mast. I'm not talking about under the underclass. They told our ancestors that they were going to take them on a trip. So we all boarded on that great big old ship. Here we are still in captivity. I wonder will we ever gain our liberty? Now I'm teaching you the golden rule. You have to obtain more than just school. Even though they may have given you that name, you don't really have to claim it as if it was your fame. And if it's all the same, you better think about taking back your real name. I do suppose that you better get hip while you don't want to go boarding on the wrong ship. It would really be a shame if you never found out what was really in a name. That's what I took. That's why I took this name, and I'm encouraging you to do the same. Let me do some explaining before you folks start complaining. This is why I'm singing and proclaiming that there is really something in a name, which is what I tried to explain. And I will forevermore proclaim that there is really something in a name. Something in a name. Second touch. Though my vision appears to have been blurred, and I can't seem to remember your final words, please be patient with me today and shine your light in my life, I pray. I am asking for a moment of your time to guide me so I won't be blind. Help me so that I can get through these lines. I know this thing will pass with time. I want a second touch for a clearer vision, just a second touch for a clearer vision. I hope that this is not asking too much, just for a second touch. Breathe on me once again and help me to remember way back when you first molded me in your hands like clay, as if I were child's play. Remember when you renewed a right spirit in me and gave me a kindred lifeline for others to see. I want a second touch for a clearer vision, just a second touch for a clearer vision. And if there are obstacles still standing in my way, please remove these barriers, I pray. I want a second touch just for a clearer vision. A second touch for a clearer vision. Crazy, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I have read most of what is going to be in License to Preach, but I will give you a couple that are out of my first book. And the one is set to music and it's entitled I'll Be Brief. I'll be brief. I won't hold you up like you're some common thief. I'll get straight to the point. And in no time, I'll have you up and out of this joint. I'll be short. I won't keep you like you're in some jury court, waiting while debating which plaintiff case will prevail. or which one the jury will decide to throw in jail? Yes, yes, I'll hurry, so you don't even have to worry. I'm already fixing to get ready to go. So before anyone hits the door, just remember that I still have the floor. I'm a poet for those of you who didn't know it, and it's only been my real intention to show it. Before I get ready to bring this to an end, I'm sure you all have places that you long should have been. I only hope that I haven't committed a cardinal sin by taking up too much of your time, my friend. The next one is that was called, I'll be brief. The next one is Out of the Valley. I was born in the valley, and I was down in the valley and couldn't get from under. How long would I be in this state, I wonder? And then a voice inside of me spoke out and said, this thing you don't have to dread. You no longer have to ponder. This thing won't have you going under. Lift up your head and cry out with one great voice. Now you must make a choice. Stand to your feet. This thing you are now ready to defeat. You've gone under for the very last time. You don't have to go back anymore. That is, if you're still keeping the store. This kind of crazy, you don't recognize it anymore. In your spirit, you are rich. You don't have to resort to being poor. All you need to do is have enough courage just to walk through the door. Remember, you don't have to receive it nor embrace it. Just let your mind totally erase it. Nothing can take you under if you don't permit it. Remembering what Johnny Cochran once said when he said, if it don't fit, it must be acquitted. Now, when you cry out, millions will come to your defense. You won't have to persuade or convince. Now that you come out of the valley, the people will gather around just to rally that you have now come up out of the valley. Out of the valley. My testimony. I took a good look at my life today, and I saw so much of it faded away. I took a breath, and I could hardly breathe. Then I nearly fell to my knees, for I must go on, you see. I can't let this life get the best of me, for this thing, it will soon pass, you'll see. This is only my testimony while looking for my future in the past. I'll take a breath and hope that it lasts. For the power once expressed in my past is now accompanying my future at last. For I must go on, you see. I can't let this life get the best of me. For this thing will soon pass, you'll see. This is only my testimony. For just being here in the presence, it hurts too bad. It only leaves me feeling lonely and sad. From life's ups and downs, I find myself hiding my frown. While looking for my future in the past, I'll take a breath and hope that it lasts. For I must go on, you see. I cannot let this life get the best of me. This thing will soon pass, you'll see. For this is only my testimony. Now that I've learned the art and skills of meditation, I can send out to you who heard an invitation for a chance to commune with the divine in you by hooking up with the meta nectar. In no time, you'll soon be feeling better. For I must go on, you see. Cannot let this life get the best of me. This thing will soon pass, you'll see. This is only my testimony. While looking for the future in the past, I'll take a breath and hope that it lasts. I'll take a breath now and know that it will last. For life is no longer a test for me. This is now only my testimony. The next one is Medicine Man. My brother, the medicine man, Some folk call him the root doctor man, but I like to call him the naturopathic man, the doctor that holds healing in his hand, the good bedside, mild-mannered man that writes with a pen in the palm of his left hand, mixing herbs, roots, tinctures, and fusion. Please wait before you start any confusion about him drawing the wrong conclusion about him mixing up these herbs and fusion. Don't you go gathering any notion. He's only mixing up herbs and potion together to give healing folk who have become a little under the weather. Why, ever since I can remember, he's been the doctor in the house. I've always been the one of his faithful students, following him around like a mouse, charting the course of the life of an herb from the time I was in the classroom learning to congregate a verb. I know that it was far better to learn the uses of an herb. He teaches me how to mix a little pinch of this and an ounce or two of that. When I'm laid flat on my back, what he really doesn't know is that I'm a natural as a fact at putting herbs together and all sorts of things like that. Mother's worth, milk thistles, lady's mantle, and stinging nettle. With all the life cycles of changes that a woman goes through, from menstruation, menopause, facing all these strains and pains, it's like going through withdrawals. Sipping on hawthornberry, rosemary, raspberry, and blessed thistle, I must be careful not to miss the sound of the teapot's blowing whistle. He's in the kitchen now, brewing up some tea. Pardon me while I go in to see. When I'm in the kitchen fixing supper, I have learned to mix up herbs for kinfolk who suffer. We are like two peas in a pot. We admire each other a whole lot. Born a day apart, I had a whole year on him right from the start, which made it kind of hard, even though I'm the oldest and we both are born in the same month. I never take advantage of him by trying to pull rank or front. Why, I can remember when he first went on the air to address the people on the topic of cleansing and detoxification. The people were full of it. Some of them were so toxic that they weren't fit. He responded with caution by avoiding any repercussion. Someday he'll run his own botanica shop. And if you're ever in the area, don't you forget to stop, to have your eyes checked and your feet reflect. My brother, the medicine man. Let's see, we have some other ones here that we're going to read. Okay. All right. Miracle worker. My husband thinks that I'm a miracle worker. But dig this. Dig this. Here is the real tearjerker. He tucks $20 in my hand, and I say, man, what's your plan? He says, he responds, I'm sure you understand. He says, here, take this and go shopping, without even stopping to think that it's been a long time since grits was poultry and since $20 bought groceries. While just the other day, he requested gourmet. I put chicken on his plate instead of steak and prayed that he didn't realize that it was fake. I guess someone has to determine his fate. You see, as a miracle worker, I don't have to debate. While on his days off, all he wants to do is sit and gaze. He never wants to reminisce about the good old days. His mind is somewhere off all the time in the days. While the television occupies a great portion of his time, He keeps on promising that he'll read a few of my lines. But girl, I have to laugh. Oh, I have to laugh just to keep from crying. This man really thinks that I'm a miracle worker. I ain't lying. His greatest consolation is flipping the station from station to station. From station to station. Hopefully soon he will be ready to take a vacation. That is from that television station, because I am no real miracle worker. That's the real tearjerker. Okay. My best friend. I wrote a thesis. No, I'm not a doctor studying in amniocentesis about the effects that the female had on the black man. It was time someone took a real stand in order to redeem man. And my instructors and professors had applauded me for challenging such a topic that had long been avoided. In my struggle to find my best friend, it led me down a road of no real end. It led me to a place of no real end, realizing in reality that we both existed in total duality. The manuscript was submitted for publishing to Jawanza Kanjufu after being edited by Teju. He soon wrote back with publishing instruction, only now I can't get my writing on for so much disruption. In due time, I guess, or maybe even in a good season. All things usually work together for a reason. This task appears to have led me down a different path, which is now held up my draft. Moreover, what I ponder is what made me write about the black man, I wonder. While in my struggle to find my best friend, it had led me to a place of no real end, realizing that we both existed in total duality. I was searching as if I was under a spell. My inhibition was backed up like mail, lock, stock, and barrel. Father, I hope you'll forgive me for not first attempting to look within. In my struggle to find my best friend, realizing in reality we both existed in total duality. In my final effort to complete this thesis, I had to research all the original pieces, rhyme upon rhyme, serving up no hymns before their time, in order to bring a new flavor of lines while collecting these legendary species to collaborate with this foreign thesis. I had to consult with the priestess on the topic of discussion in order to avoid future repercussions. In my struggle to find my best friend, which had led me to a place of no real end. My best friend. Can you hear it? I beget this while in the spirit so that you could hear it. Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Don't fear it. Come over here and hear it. Pull the veil back and revere it. Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Oh, and if you hear them, don't you fear them. Just revere them. Create a sanctuary like to Mary. I mean, with memories of their old souls, of the deceased loved ones foretold. Pay homage by pouring libation. For this was done since the time of creation. It's your only source of real liberation. Listen, listen, can you hear them? Can you hear them? Listen, can you hear them? For if you can't, then keep on trying. For all around us, I can hear them crying, petitioning on your behalf before the Creator brings his wrath. For they never really left us. Their souls have remained behind to comfort us in our hard times. Listen, can you hear them? Listen, can you hear them? For they will surround you like water when the fire draws near. So have no fear. Just remember that the way remains open and clear. to assist you in your undertaking, my dear. Can you hear them? Did you ever believe? Did you ever believe in things that you couldn't see, or the things that you thought you could never be? Like a dreamer, that's what I learned to be, believing for things that I can't even see. I know faith is the substance of things hoped for, and now this is the key to unlocking the door and the evidence of things unseen, which can sometimes appear in my dreams. A measure of faith, which is what he has given us by grace. Did you ever believe in things that you couldn't see, or things you thought you could never be? Like a dreamer, that's what I learned to be, believing for things I can't even see. I'll speak things as if they were, hoping that one day they will soon occur. I know what you say is what you have today. It was planned that way, while believing for a future of tomorrow that's brighter than today. For it's the only way. Love, hope, and faith. And the greatest of these is faith. For without faith, it's really impossible to have grace. Even if I might be able to love unconditionally and have all hope beyond measures, without faith, I receive no real treasures. Faith without works is dead, is what we should really dread. Did you ever believe in things that you couldn't see, or the things you thought you could never be? Like a dreamer, that's what I learned to be, believing for things that I can't even see, even though I possess the faith of a mustard seed and have not heeded to the laws of sowing and reaping. Then what's the sense in keeping faith as a tool when I've already broken all the rules? We'll be back in a moment here. The next one is one of my favorite. It's called The Music Inside of Me. This music inside of me, it has to sing. Come winter, come fall, or come spring. Melodies that are so sweet to the ear that they will come from afar just to hear. I'll sing a song of summer and add to it the beat of the finest drummers, with big drums, little drums, and talking drums too. I'll create the music especially for you. With flutes and string instruments, I'll add to it the woodwinds and the percussion accents that birds will come out to hear. This music will be so soothing to the ear. This music inside of me, you just gotta hear. This music inside of me has to sing. Come winter, come fall, or come spring. In the coolest of the fall, the breeze begins to call out to the children to return to the halls, while making vows that they will travel for miles to retain and return to school with tan faces after they have returned from vacation in various places. This music inside of me has to sing, come winter, come fall, or come spring. This writer inside keeps telling me that there's music inside that has been suppressed and forced to hide. But I must bring it out by singing loud with pride. I'll sing of a new song on one winter's night. While the wind blows and the snowflakes strikes the poles. And on every street corner, you'll be able to hear this music inside of me that is so dear. This music inside of me has to sing. Come winter, come fall, or come spring. On a spring day in the heart and the heat of the night, my voice, yes, my voice will echo in the ghetto ever so light, all during the night, while singing out, let the music inside of you heal others, for you were blessed with it by your mothers. Let the music inside of you sing, come winter, come fall, or come spring. Have you read the books? Have you read the books? The Meta-Netter, the Hosea today. Have you read every word that they have to say? From volume 1 to volume 2, have you discovered the hidden treasures in which they hold for you? You must embrace the Kemetic teaching, and not only just preaching, in the way that we used to be, with respect, reverence from above, knowing that the greatest is love. You must learn to reject the prejudice in exchange for respect. In the Kemetic teaching, it was brought only 7 personalities to be taught. Have you read the books? The Meta-Netter, the Hosea today. Have you read every word that they have to say? Now let this mind of the Kemetic be within you, which was also in the Netter too. So no man will ever attempt to offend you. You must read the line upon line and precept upon precept. Now, not from one prophet nor from one preacher, but you must sit down to let the Netter be your teacher. Now, from the age of the Sphinx, no matter what you heard or what you think, man must master his lower half by reaching back into his past. Other people have adopted our history while leaving us with only a mystery. After you've read all the books, there will be no need for you to look because the answers will be located there in the book. Now may the circle never be unbroken, and may these very words that I've spoken be held as a token, and may the Netter be satisfied as she sets us aside to be sanctified. Have you read the book? Where my roots stem. This is a dedication I made to myself and my childhood life, which was so sweet. Brown skin, long-legged skinny girl, running around in your afro curl. You were transplanted from a place called the hood to out in the suburban backwoods. You grew up in a place called Gary, Indiana, with a backyard view off the avenue. No, you weren't nurtured in the urban woods, but rather in the ghetto hoods. Your name was changed from Sherry May to what it is today. Can you still remember where the house stood? Those were the days when it was all good. Handprints and names engraved on sidewalks, to picnicking long after dark in the park. Now on to Tolleson High for the basketball event. To downstate on the buses we all went. I remember now at the playground was the place to be. That is, if you ever wanted to find me. This is where my roots stem. Across the street was a chili bowl restaurant with guys and girls hanging out trying to front, with courting rooms and boyfriends too, and with no chance for nothing left to do. Coming home late, sitting up in parked cars with your date, while parents sitting up waiting to debate about you being late. I never remember doing the WAP. Why, the only dances back then were called the bop. The Chicago style and the Philly too. These were the dances required of you. Guys running, guys turning ladies by the knee, and someone yelling out, "Oh, stop, will you please?" Now on to sock hops and long lunches, to loading up in crowded cars by the bunches, skipping school to go to the beaches, trying to avoid the subject of the boring teacher. This is where my roots stem. Oh yes, I remember now. This is where my roots stem. You can't take them away from me, for I'll plant myself right here where I'll be. And someone will then spring up just like me. From dilly bars to ice cream, while mama scream, "Boys and girls, come on over here and get a taste of this cream." While going to late afternoon movies and giving up high fives saying that movie sure was groovy. With pushing students in every cardinal direction, while looking back, it's a mere reflection of the struggle to force integration, which wasn't such an overwhelming sensation. They killed the boy the first day of school because the institution broke the golden rule: thou shalt not integrate. for it's far too late to wearing dashikis and tie-dye, and guys dressed in their tailor-made suits while riding around in their dues, to wearing combat boots and alpaca sweaters and pants made of leather, to brothers faking it in their pleather, mini skirts and go-go boots, and girls dressed in their afro suits, girls dressed in their walking suits, Christians waking up being born again while converting to Islam, trying to avoid sin. Saying God is the greatest, chanting these words were now the latest, to guys who were once on lockdown, now pushing final calls all across town, with graduation night approaching, to guys now taking lessons in coaching. After graduating a scholar, I had to stand back to take a breath to holler. It's now time to make a dollar. Now with the community on a hike, while pushing students off to college to avoid the pipe. From the club Zodiac to the blue room swinging, to 11 girls on stage singing. These were the Mitchell singers with a makeshift band of brothers all singing, to singing all over town representing mothers singing, for chicken dinners while trying to win souls and sinners, with the waiter giving us a hassle while trying to eat out at White Castle, to eventually having to eat out at Hardee's after the skating party. And brothers hanging out on every street corner, giving up knowledge and pointers, to having all night lures at the lure, while dancing to a tune of a Louie Louie, and the Jezebel on Broadway corners, foxed up just like some guys want them. This is where my roots stem. Oh yes, I can remember now. You can't take them away from me, for I'll plant myself right where I'll be. Then someone, yes, I know someone, will spring up. I know, just like me. Come and get this teaching. Come and get this teaching. No, I'm not preaching, just testifying, and you know I'm not lying. We've taken our music to another place, to somewhere out there in the middle of space, busting out with lines of ebonics, reducing ourselves to a level of mnemonics, when we can be pushing albums that blunt it. Instead, we choose to front it. While we don't take without giving back, we do this to circumvent lack. It's the fact. It's the principle of reciprocity in act. Come get this teaching. No, I'm not preaching, just testifying, and you know I'm not lying. While we've gone from paying some dues to singing someone else's blues, we can't continue to allow ourselves to be used. Come get this teaching. No, I'm not preaching, just testifying, and you know that I'm not lying. We went from segregated to integrated to miseducated, now to educated. It's time that we've been dedicated. No, I'm not preaching, just testifying. And you know I'm not lying. Once rendered mute, unable to render the words of our own pursuit, we've got a new vocabulary at our disposal. While we're now even writing our own proposals, while the stories from the ghetto hood unfold of the coming one to be foretold. Didn't you know it? That it's our time now to manufacture our own flavor of rhymes. Come get this teaching. I'm not preaching, just testifying, and you know I'm not lying. Let's take the message to a higher ground, like Stevie Wonder and James Brown. We don't have time for fooling around. Let's take the beat. Let's take the beat where we can all get down, Knowledge and truth is what the people want to hear in this critical time of living in fear. Let's possess the stage like the coming of the new millennium age. Come get this teaching. No, I'm not preaching, I'm just testifying, and you know I'm not lying. Now I'll ask you if you are the one, or is there another to come, to take this music to another level? If you are not, then come get this teaching and give it to those who I'm not reaching. A scar. A scar is sexism, classism, ageism, and racism. A scar is isms that hold us back, creating a deficiency and a lack. A scar is visible but mostly unseen to the eyes of the average human being. They deter us from reaching our dreams. A scar can come in different sexes. Sometimes they can appear in the heterosexual. A scar comes in classes. They suppress and even try to undermine the masses. A scar comes in all ages. Sometimes they don't develop to their full stages. A scar comes on all faces and they show up in unfamiliar places. Or you can even find them hiding there amongst the races. A scar. Oh, say, can you see? Oh, say, can you see the Statue of Liberty waving her hand at me? America the beautiful she once used to be, while shedding her light ever so bright, even through the dawn's early light. Now my future doesn't look so bright. Oh, say, can you see the Statue of Liberty? Is she waving her hand at me? With her now opening doors where they once used to be closed and rearranging the positions we hold. Now with the people free, they can get up. They can get up off their knees to stand equal beside every man and woman with pride. Oh, say, can you see the Statue of Liberty? Is she waving her hand at men? You said education was the key, and that was all you and I needed to be free. After receiving a higher knowledge, now that we've obtained the college, affirmative action would now be abolished. Is there no place for me left here in society? Oh, say, can you see? Is the Statue of Liberty waving her hand at me? While looking back in retrospective, it seems that you have now neglected to wave in my direction, or maybe even to glance at your reflection, to see the mere mark you've left in deception. Is this one soul that will never be saved? All because you forgot to wave. Oh, say, can you see? Oh, say, can you see? Born of the Blackfoot Indian. Born of the Blackfoot Indian tribe. One of the real reasons why I still yet survive. To those with opinions who wonder why I choose to be a chief and not an Indian. For I'm tribal, you see. My destiny was soon to be foretold, in the prophecy to be unfold, of a leader to come, and a real gift even to some. Raised around the circle of the tree of life, with a dream catcher used as a device. This is why I choose to be a chief and not an Indian. It was a vision of a leader to come, and a real gift even to some. With the children at the center of families link. This was one of the tools used to keep a leader in sync. Raised in a tribe of 18, with 8 chiefs and 10 Indians. If you are wondering where the 8th chief arrived, it should be come as no surprise, for I'm the real leader of the pack, with all 10 Indians who've got my back. This is why I choose to be a chief and not an Indian. It was a vision of a leader to come and a real gift even to some. Why Mama made her transition when I was just 2. I tried to follow in her footsteps after her life was through by leading my people through the underground depot. You see, one of the traits of a real chief is to take charge against those who would barge by consulting the oracles for spiritual instruction in order to avoid chaos and any farther disruption. Like gods and goddess, they do this. Like kings and queens, they do it too. Like kings and queens, they do it too. Like priests and priestesses, they all do it too. Cast lot to determine their spots. This is why I choose to be a chief and not an Indian. It was a vision of a leader to come. It was a vision of a leader to come. Like gods and goddesses, they do it too. Like queens and kings, they do it too. Like priests and priestesses, they all do it too. Cast lots to determine their spots. This is why I choose to be a chief and not an Indian. It was a vision of a leader to come and a real gift even to some. You see, a real chief know their place. So back up and get out of my space. Don't go trying to play me for no Indian, acting like you're smoking on the peace pipe of indigo. I'm calling you out like a real chief. I aim to take back what was mine, you thief. Oh, and if you still wondering why I choose to be a chief and not an Indian, just check the history books, for it's no real mystery. For why for centuries you have disregarded our land, forfeited God's plan for man, called us out of our name, left us feeling shame, then stole America, and told America she was to blame. Stole our language, forced us into anguish, attempted to render us mute. That's when we had to hit you with a suit. Took us to a level of deprivation, which led us to call for reparation. The next one is a real soldier.